What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Credit Card News live stream. I'm Cal Barton. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much to Danny for the super chat. You said, "What's up, Cal? Looking forward to the stream." And listen, I'm excited to do this one because I have a lot planned for this stream, and I'm gonna get your impressions and your feedback on a few things so that I can, course correct and all that stuff. I want to say what's up to Jorge. You're on Team VentureX. I see you. I'm on Team VentureX too. We're going to talk about that because I have that card, and they made some changes to that card recently. Miss Barton, I see you. Welcome back to the stream. Lunchbox 701, Cinema Madness, big support group. How you doing? Def Davis, I have a slide dedicated directly to you because you asked me that question about interest rates. So we're going to dive into that in one of the slides. Johnny Jimenez, what's up? V, how you doing from Dallas, Texas? I'm glad you shot. If anybody else is from Texas, shout out to Texas real quick. I've been to Dallas one time. V, how you doing? So Cinemanus, I just want to recognize you real quick. You said your Apple Card started at $3,000 in 2020. Then it went to $4,500. And now it's at $8,000 in 2022. Well, listen, congratulations to you, sir. That's a job well done. Rob Flemings, how you doing, man? I don't think I've seen you in the stream before, but listen, you're welcome. I'm glad you're joining us tonight. So let's get into the news here for this week. So first up, we said more debt, higher fees. Credit card borrowers face mounting burdens. So after a coronavirus era reprieve, Americans are borrowing heavily again to keep up with decades of high inflation on essentials such as food, gas, and housing. Credit card debt is rising at its fastest clip in more than 20 years. All right, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, overall Americans owe $887 billion on their credit cards, a 13% increase from a year ago. Now, with the Fed rapidly raising interest rates to contain inflation, families are feeling the pinch of higher borrowing costs too. So average credit card rates at 18.7% are at their highest level in 30 years, and it will probably continue rising according to bankrate.com. So listen, it's going to be, I'm seeing a lot of indicators from, other analysts. Listen, I follow Gary Vee, and he's out here, hitting the streets, telling everybody to tighten up, batten down the hatches, because 2023 is not looking to be a great year economically. And things are kind of trending on the downward slope. So, with credit card interest rates at 18% and then debt at an all-time high, people are going to be in a tight position. So I know you guys are, handling your situations better than most, but definitely keep an eye out on your, your available credit. You want to basically keep the percentage that you use on your credit cards below 10% at all times. So next slide, we have what's in your wallet. A lot less in Dick Durbin Gets His Way. So Dick Durbin is a senator. He says, aside from earning a spot on the Mount Rushmore of Senate tax raisers over his career, Durbin has gone above and beyond raiding Americans' wallets, specifically their debit cards, with vigor. In 2010, through an amendment to the Dodd-Frank law that bears in his name, the Durbin Amendment was purportedly aimed at lowering debit card fee transactions for consumers. What we've learned in that time is startling. Capping debit card fees resulted in higher costs for consumers, but larger profits for retailers. Banks responded to the loss in exchange fee revenue by raising other rates and fees, eliminating free checking, and wiping away nearly all of the benefits and rewards they offered with their branded debit cards. Durbin pro-consumer legislation wound up costing consumers billions. The loss of perks and benefits and priced millions out of the owning of a bank account. So listen, anytime there's going to be extra, a business is going to pass on their losses to the consumer. That seems to happen at every corner, at every turn. When that happens, those big banks are going to pass those new larger bills onto the consumer. So this is not a surprise. But Let's take a look at the next story. So more brands will more brands will offer secure credit cards for customers during uncertain economic times. So over 150 million individuals in the U.S. are considered financially at risk today. So according to Expedia and U.S. Census data, these consumers continue to face pressure when managing their finances. From high inflation to economic uncertainty, nearly 1/3 of U.S. consumers have a subprime credit score. So subprime is defined as between 580 to 669, including 40% of millennials, who make up the highest ratio of subprime consumers of any generation. Additionally, an estimated 49 million U.S. consumers are classified as either credit invisible or unscorable. So businesses and consumers face a tumultuous macroeconomic environment, skyrocketing inflation, and a looming recession. As a result, there is an opportunity for the credit landscape to shift, and the offering and use of secure credit cards are the solutions that will help brands and consumers alike. So, in addition to secure cards, and if you don't know, a secure card just basically means that you're going to put that money down up front, and whatever money that you put into the account for that credit account is going to be used as your credit limit. So you can never go above the money that you put in. So the bank is never on the hook for owing money. You're never on the hook for owing the money to the bank, because it's just your money being loaned out to you. So I've noticed another model that new fintechs are using that that do offer credit to the unscorable, and that is and this is what the X1 card does, and I believe you can. There's another card that does it. It's the Tomo credit card. You might have heard of it. And what they do is you have to link your savings accounts and your checking accounts to your X1 card or to your Tomo card account. And what they'll do is they'll look at your transaction history. They'll look at your paycheck, your income, direct deposits, and they'll make a determination based on that what your credit worthiness is. And so that's allowed new fintechs to gain market share, but also offer unsecured credit cards to people that haven't had an established credit file, and they may have lower credit limits as well. So if you have a higher income, then that could still get you in the door for a higher credit limit. So here's what Warren Buffett says about credit card debt. So this was interesting to me. Millions of Americans use credit cards to pay for purchases, with an average cardholder owing nearly $5,800 as of the first quarter of this year, and nearly $900 billion in total credit card debt in the United States. But despite their popularity, credit cards can be dangerous if used improperly. So billionaire investor Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, as a lot of people know him, has expressed his disdain, so basically his hate, for credit cards several times, even saying that he pays for 98% of his own purchases with cash. See, I think that's cap right there. I don't really believe that, but he is an older gentleman, so this might be true. Here's what Warren Buffett has said about credit cards and why he feels the way he does. So it went on to list a few of his quotes, but I believe what this really got into was that he was basically giving advice to the general public, and I think that's pretty sound. For most people, credit cards are kind of their undoing. It's going to do them a lot more harm than good. So I think that, for me and you, we're using credit cards to get rewards, to get the extra benefits, the protections that it offers. But, I think this could be good advice for the general public. You want to use cash or debit, just like, Dave Ramsey says. But this is not for everyone. You got to really assess your situation and what you know and understand. What experience do you have? Can you handle a credit card? Do you have a balanced budget? And are you paying your statement balance on a monthly basis so you're not incurring those interest charges? So listen, I'm a fan of Warren Buffett. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think about Warren Buffett? He has very strong advice for the general public on credit cards, but also for investing, because his advice on investing for the general public is to invest in a S&P 500 index fund. Do you think that's the right way to go about it, or would you rather people learn to invest in single stocks or crypto? And he's definitely against crypto. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So and I just want to also say about this. Let me fast forward a little bit because this reminds me of a poll that I took. So I'm just gonna skip around for a bit. What's the number one reason credit beats cash? And so I asked you guys, was it safer to carry, cash back and points, tracks your spending, or builds credit? And so most of you said, it's 52% said that cash back and points was the biggest reason why credit beats cash. And listen, what we're talking about is the ability to earn, over the course of a year, $1,000, close to it. Some people earn multiple thousands of dollars in rewards if they're using something like a gold, Amex Gold or something, and they're able to maximize those points if you do a little bit extra work. But if you're just using cash back strategy, for me personally, I'm pulling in, anywhere from $50 to $100 a month in cash back, on any given month. So that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a good amount. That'll pay a bill, So is it going to make you rich? No, of course not. But is it something that you can use to pay down other bills? Of course, it helps, To the second percentage, our most voted for was builds credit. And, this is something that I discounted a few years back. My credit was already in a pretty good place when I started in the credit card game, seriously got into the credit card game. But builds credit is definitely a huge deal because what are those top two reasons? When the FICO scoring model, when they look at your credit report, they're looking at monthly performance or monthly on-time payments, and they're looking at credit utilization rate, and that accounts for 60% of your FICO score. So a credit card does a really good job of giving you more data on your credit report by those on-time payments, and then as soon as you get a higher limit, that just allows you more room to maximize your credit utilization. And then we have number 3 is safer to carry. A lot of people don't know this, but credit cards have a more favorable kind of reimbursement and more stringent protections against like fraud. So I find often that if my credit card, if I personally use my credit card at a foreign gas station or someplace late at night, it'll get declined. It'll ask me, "Hey, is this you?" And I've just noticed that the heavier restrictions are the policies that they have in place for fraud are a little bit better on credit cards, but then also reimbursement. You're going to have an easier time getting reimbursed for any sort of, fraud, or if somebody takes your credit card or finds it and then uses it successfully, you're going to be able to get that money back. No questions asked on most cards, right? Let me know if you had that experience before. I told you about a few weeks back where the guy had an Amex Gold card at the fair. He dropped it. Someone tried to use it twice. It never, they were never able to get a payment off, but he got notified immediately, and he found them in the same line at the fair for a ride, and he was able to approach them and get his card back. So listen, also the credit cards allow you to not a layaway period, but credit cards give you that monthly float. You have I can't find the term right now, but it gives you 25 days or so to pay that bill off. So in the meantime, that money is still sitting in your checking account or in your savings account. So you have that period, that grace period. If you can, I know somebody probably commented the grace period. So that's another good thing. And then number 4, you have track spending. Only 2% voted for that. But I think credit cards are going to be good for separating spending from like a business to a personal side. And that's going to allow you to just put spending on this one other card that you dedicate for a certain purpose, like a business. It's going to help with that. So a lot of people don't acknowledge those benefits of credit cards. All right, next we have big banks' profits are dropping, but consumers cushion the blow. So we're the cushion. If you see how that works, right? The big banks, they're having a tough time. They're just gonna pass that tough time over to the consumer, and we're gonna make it easier for them. So big banks are bracing for an economic slowdown, but haven't yet seen any major signs of trouble, as consumer spending remains strong despite the dent that market turbulence left in their latest quarterly profits. Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo all said that they had bolstered their reserves to guard against future loan losses, a sign of potential trouble with rising interest rates putting borrowers under strain and high inflation curtailing spending. Next up, we have banks are turn to mobile banking into consumers' financial tool of choice. So what this is saying is that the banks have been successful in basically making people prefer to bank on the mobile apps. They've been doing a good job of building those out. So with the pandemic now endemic, our contactless digital tools and behaviors that got us through that episode, sunsetting so we can return to how it was before. In a word, no, there are numerous examples, but the use of online banking and mobile banking apps that rose dramatically in the first 2 years of the crisis have now become a permanent part of how we bank. So yeah, I can't tell you how many times I mostly log on to my into my accounts through the apps on my phone. What do you use? Do you use the online, like, do you go on your laptop or your PC or your computer to do your banking at all? Let me know in the comments. All right, so this is some news here from Green Dot. The bank behind Walmart and Apple debit cards fires their CEO. Green Dot, which operates the bank behind those debit cards, terminated its CEO, Dan Henry, will be replaced by George Grinshaw and the company's chief financial and operating officer. According to a statement Monday, Henry also resigned from the company's board. The company, based in Austin, Texas, operates the bank behind the Apple Cash Card and Walmart's Money Card. Founded in 1999, the firm has more than 30 million accounts, and it produces our products are distributed at 90,000 retail locations across the U.S. You know, Green Dot, I've seen them somewhere else. I might have to think a little bit about this, but I've seen the Green Dot logo at like 7-Elevens or something. I think they were used to, I want to say that Green Dot was a company that facilitated, depositing cash money into like the fintech account. If you had like a checking account with like, SoFi, then Green Dot would facilitate that, but I'm not sure. Let's move on to the next one. So Chase points are worth up to 50% more towards Apple purchases thanks to this limited time promotion. So calling all Apple enthusiasts. I know most of the people in the comment section here are gonna be Apple iPhone users. You guys give me a hard time about this almost every week. So now through November 30th, Chase cardholders can save a little extra this fall when redeeming points for Apple products through Chase Ultimate Rewards. Depending on which card you have, your points will be worth between 10%, 25%, or even 50% more than usual thanks to this promotion. In other words, if you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade your iPhone, iPad, or Apple Watch, then get started for this holiday season. So I think you can go through the Chase portal and do this and use those points. All right, next we have, this is something I wanted to include. I'm thinking about kind of brainstorming a video from this. And I just wanted to delve into this because I know it's very important for a lot of my audience. So this is 10 ways to increase your credit limit. So these are kind of the top 10 reasons that I've found, or methods that I've found to increase your limit. And this kind of spans over all of the credit card issuers and banks. And that goes for, the big four consumer banks to your mom and pop or regional, credit unions. So the first thing you want to do is spend more. And the rule of thumb that I always use now is you want to spend at least 30% of your available credit limit over 3 to 4 consecutive months. So back to back to back. You want to use that as your top of wallet, top spending daily carry card for the card that you're trying to grow that limit on. And you want to spend at least 30% of your available credit limit for multiple months back to back. And that's like the biggest factor that's going to show those positive indicators to your bank that you need a higher limit. And the more you use a card, for more transactions, the more the bank earns. Even if you don't pay interest or annual fees, they still earn money from the merchant side with interchange fees, which can be from 1 to like 4%. All right, second method, I should say, is balance transfers. This is not in order. After this, it's not in order, but I've noticed that, especially with like Capital One, for example, that a high net worth individual who was able to get very frequent limit increases, he was using balance transfers. And I know someone in my audience also said they use this method to increase their limit. And the way that I view this is that the credit card issuer is looking for more activity and on the account. And they're looking for you to be using the card in multiple ways, for you to be hands-on with the card. And all these different offerings that they're sending to you are making the bank money. So if they see you using the card in all these different ways, it's just more positive indicators, So balance transfers, a lot of cards come with a 0% APR for like 12 to 15 months. I know the Quicksilver card comes with that. Discover It card comes with that. So many others do. So balance transfers are good. Product changes. A lot of people don't know about this, but especially with Capital One, again, I'll have to pick that out, is that if you product change, you can actually go to a landing page, which I have a link on my website. And here's my website right here. This is what it looks like. It's right here. At the bottom of the site, you can see there's a clickable button that says Capital One Upgrades. You can click on that. It'll take you to the landing page where you can see if you're pre-qualified to upgrade your card. Okay, so you can use the product change and it won't affect your credit score. It'll only be a soft pull. And again, it just shows more indicators to the bank that you're looking to use the card. You got a brand new shiny card. You're likely going to be using that. And I've noticed that I was able to get an increase on my Venture X card. So what I did was I product changed from my Capital and Quicksilver card, which I had for like 2 or 3 years, into the Venture X card. And I was able to raise my limit twice, actually. I raised it right before I switched, and then I raised it another $1,000 after I switched. So I started at a $15,000 limit initially. I raised it another $1,000 when I had I raised it from $15,000 to $17,000 when I had the Quicksilver card. After I product changed, I was able to raise it to $18,000 just recently. So I believe that is another good method. Another reason, and let me bring you back to the slide here, is going to be direct deposits. Actually, yeah, I'll go back to that. So direct deposits, this is really good for banks that have, or for credit cards that have a bank. So if you're using like an Amex card, I don't think there's a way to, they don't have a checking account. But if you have like a Chase card, then use their checking account. They're giving you so many offers. They're giving you $300, $400 to sign up for an account. Go ahead and get the money, sign up for an account, use the direct deposits. And you can do this for Capital One as well. They have a 360 account, which a lot of you like. Go ahead and deposit your checks in there. And that's just going to be more positive indicators, as I said, to that you have the money there and you're willing to do more business. It's like a relationship builder when you do that. And this definitely works for credit unions. So if you're with like Navy Federal Credit Union and you're using that direct deposit, that's one of the best ways to establish yourself and establish a relationship with them. And they're big on that. Also, manually requesting the increase. So I got to say, from my personal experience, I've been able to increase my credit limit. I've been able to achieve virtually all of my credit limit increases by asking for it. Just like, please give me more money. That's the way I've been able to do it because I know a lot of people have had the experience where they just get automatic increases. That's not me. And I typically don't even spend enough on the card to warrant an automatic increase. So I have to go in and ask for it. So I've noticed that if you have the Capital One Quicksilver card, for example, you can request every 31 days. If you have the Apple card, request every 31 days because guess what? There's no hard credit pull. It's just a soft pull. So you might as well ask as frequently as possible. If you have a Chase card, then you can't do that or if you have a US bank card, you can't do that because if you manually request the increase, you're going to see that hard pull language, meaning that you're going to see language saying that you acknowledge that we can pull your credit report, something to that effect. If you call in, they'll even warn you that it's going to be a hard credit pull. So with those two banks, you definitely want to wait for that automatic limit increase. Also, another method is going to be a personal or pledge loan. So this is going to go for something like the Navy Federal Credit Union. That's been a big hack, if you will, for establishing your relationship with them. You want to sign up for a few $100s to a few $1,000 pledge loan, and then I believe the way you do that is you're gonna set up the pledge loan and then immediately pay off most of the loan, and then kind of pay the rest of the loan for the remainder of the term, and that's just gonna help you expedite your relationship building with them. Next, you're gonna have to do another good method is increasing your income. So this doesn't just come in the form of earning more money. And I know there's probably a lot of you out there that aren't telling the bank when you get an increase. So a lot of you are probably getting yearly bonuses or yearly inflation adjusted raises at your job. You definitely want to let the bank know as soon as that happens. But also you can count anybody in your household that is pooling, if you have a joint account or if you're putting money together to pay bills together in the household, you can actually include your spouse's or your significant other's income or even your friend's income. If you're living together and your money is being used together for a common effort, you can use that as your total income on these applications, and it's just fine. So definitely you want to increase that income, and that's really going to largely affect your starting credit limit is your income, and then how much the bank is willing to loan out to you, because they want to know that you're going to be able to repay larger credit limits. All right. Another method. And if you like this, give me a thumbs up in the comment section if you like this type of discussion, and go ahead and like the stream while you're at it, please. Next up is increase your other credit limits. So you can't forget about the other cards. Maybe you sock drawer the card. I know a lot of you probably have a rubber band wrapped around those cards, and you got it shoved deep into the drawer and you just forgot about it. You definitely want to raise those others limits, because I've seen reports and data that if those other when you sign up for a new credit card account, it's going to pull data. It's going to see what your other credit limits are, and it's going to kind of base their decision off of what your existing credit limits are. I've seen this to be the case from my vantage point, because when I sign up for new cards, the limits are usually the same as my previous cards, and I know that can't be all happenstance. So I've seen reports of that helping you out. So you definitely want to raise other credit limits as you go along. So usually, a good rule of thumb is every 3 to 6 months, go ahead and request an increase. I just went across the board recently, and I raised the limit on my Capital One Venture X card. I raised the limit on my what other card did I have here? Oh, both of my Citi Custom Cash cards. I raised those limits up. And I was very happy to see I raised it up $3,000 on one and like $1,500 on another. And I raised the limit on my Verizon Visa card by about $2,000 or $3,000 as well. So you definitely want to pay attention to your other cards. Don't neglect your other cards, okay? Next, you want to add authorized users. So this is something that I've been really testing out recently. With any new cards that I sign up for, I always add my wife as an authorized user, and I have a good hunch, a good feeling that it's helping push me over the edge or give more positive indicators, because there's a reason why the applications are asking you, are you going to add authorized users? Are you going to transfer a balance? Are you going to they want to know that you're going to use all the benefits and features of this card that they baked into it that makes them money, and they want you to use that card as your main top of wallet daily carry card. So I want to fill out the application in a way that's going to be more favorable for getting a higher starting limit and put me in position for getting a higher credit limit increases down the line, so I can grow that credit card. And then finally, reallocation. So this really goes for Chase cards. Chase cards are, and there's some other cards that are really give you this benefit. So you can actually call into customer service with a Chase card. If you have multiple cards, you can actually transfer a balance from one card that you may not be using too much to another card, just to elevate that other card's credit limit. One thing to note is that if you have a Visa signature card, I don't think you can go below $5,000. And if you have one of their Chase Sapphire Reserve cards, that's a Visa Infinite card, and that doesn't go below $10,000. So you can't go below that threshold on those cards. All right, how you guys doing there? I'm gonna talk to you guys about, answer some questions here. You guys have some questions and I want to discuss. Just a sec. There's so many, I don't know where to start, guys. If you want to, let's see. Alex asks, how much time in between raises? So it really depends on which credit card or which credit, or which bank or credit card issuer that you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with the Apple Card, for example, that's Goldman Sachs. Yes. If you're dealing with the Apple Card, then I've seen people get approved for increases on a monthly basis. So it's really effective to try every month. The Discover Card, the same way. Usually you're gonna the rule of thumb is that you can't get increases on your credit card but once every 6 months, but that's been proven to be false. The bank is really at their discretion, but the rule of thumb is once every 6 months. But if you can request more often, you definitely want to do that. Oh, somebody asked, Robert Bonvy, what's your thoughts on the new US Bank Shopper card dropping tomorrow? I want to take another look at that, because I don't know if we have all the details as far as what the sign-up bonus will be. I like it though. I want to know, does anybody in the chat let me know, does it have an annual fee? If it does not, you got to get that card. But I'm assuming that it does have a $95 annual fee. For my spending habits, it's better than the Blue Cash Preferred as it's currently constructed. Just because I shop at Amazon and Target, and those, it will be more beneficial to me. So I like it a lot. Definitely like it a lot. Thank you guys for voting on the survey. I appreciate that. Thank you for, if you can't like the stream, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. And if you want to see more streams like this, more content, definitely hit that like button. Christoph, what's up? I just went down to the bottom. I'm gonna try to get to everybody here. So you said, Cal, have you heard of the platform Plastique? to pay bills with credit cards? If so, what do you think of it? I've looked into it several times. I know that people sometimes use it to get to qualify for their sign-up bonus. If you have like a card that requires you to spend like $1,000 to like $3,000 in a very short time frame, it can be good for that. But other than that, it's got that 3% fee attached. So just because of the fee, I wouldn't use it. Chrissy, you said with the Apple Card, the trick is to make 20 transactions, small or big, purchases within a month, and then ask for increase, and you will definitely get it. I'm not sure about the specifically 20 transactions, but definitely using the card is gonna help you immensely. That's the most important thing. Team Queens Beast, you said, I had the Capital One Secure card for 18 months and never missed a payment. You never were late, always paid in full, and I asked him to upgrade me, and they kept giving me the runaround, so you canceled it. Listen, you were probably bucketed, and it would have taken years anyway, so it's probably a good thing that you canceled it and just got it out of your, out of sight, out of mind. And you probably moved on to better cards with higher limits anyway. Anik Rahman said, Venture X or Amex Platinum? Easy, Venture X. Venture X. Okay, let me go to the main screen. Venture X, for sure. Oh, thank you for replying here. So Angel said $95 annual fee and $250 sign-up bonus after $2,000 in spend on the new US Bank card, but the fee is waived in the first year. Listen, that could be good. I like that. I'm not sure if the Blue Cash Preferred, does that waive the fee in the first year? I'm not sure, but that alone makes it slightly better in that respect. So I definitely would. I'm leaning towards the US Bank card. But here's the thing. A lot of people have said that they prefer Amex's overall ecosystem and they like their customer service. So if you kind of prioritize, if you are more, if you rank higher customer service, then Amex, really, they're number one every year. So you might want to go with them just because of that. And that's going to be a case by case basis. All right. I think we have a few more things to discuss here. So let's get back to it. Capital One's new Premier Collection offers cardholders luxury hotel perks like free breakfast, room upgrades, and even more. So this benefit is coming to the Venture X card and a few of the business cards, and it gives you a $100 experience credit and to use for dining, spa, and other activities during your stay. You get a daily breakfast for two, complimentary Wi-Fi, additional premium benefits when available, including early check-in, late checkout, and room upgrades. So it's going to be available through the travel portal on the Venture X and business cards. Do you think this is a great addition? I mean, it's really good to see them updating the Venture X. They're doing a strong play. They're being very competitive with this premium card. And listen, I have yet to use it, but I'm just happy to be a card holder with this Venture X, and I can't wait to use it this holiday season. I'm gonna probably start by purchasing some flights through the portal. Does anybody else out there have the Venture X card? Next we have Bank of America, which I feel like very few people in this credit card enthusiast niche talk about Bank of America that much. But they're offering an extra 2x back for everywhere for all card holders just on one day, and that's going to be November 5th. So Bank of America announced the new promotion that will take place on November 5th. They're going to get 2x back, 2x extra. That's additional on whatever your rewards are. And so that's going to be a good thing. You might want to, strategically use that benefit. Capital One is to launch a new airport lounge, actually 2 lounges, one in LGA, that's LaGuardia, so that's close to me. I can actually benefit from that if I visit or travel through LaGuardia, and that's DCA, which is, I believe that is DC, Washington DC. So the difference between these lounges and the new Capital One landing, so this is considered a Capital One landings lounge. And so this lounge will focus on food and beverage options. Listen, that's where the money is anyway. I don't really care. I want to get a snack. I want to get, a latte. I want to get a dessert or what have you. That's going to get, that's what I'm fired up for. All right, so this one's a little bit in the weeds, but I think it's really important to talk about. Appeals court says that financial watchdog agency, CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Board. And I actually reference this quite a bit because they're basically, you see them in the news often giving these fines to Credit Karma or giving these, basically they're bringing down the hammer, throwing down the law on these credit card companies when they step out of line. And I think they're good to have around. You can actually go to their website and file a complaint. A lot of people don't know this, and I have a link again on my website right here. You can go to the bottom and you'll see CFPB, file a complaint. And if you have an issue with your credit card issuer, you can log in, tell them what happened, and they'll actually reach out to the credit card issuer in question and get back to you within like 2 weeks. So that's good to have in your back pocket, So they're saying in a case brought by a payday lending group, when it's a payday lending group, Circuit Court of Appeals threw out a CFP regulation governing those high interest rate lenders and ruled that the way the Bureau is funded violates the constitutional structural separation of powers. 3 judges have decided to take away the funding for that agency that Congress itself have voted for. The Bureau was created by the Obama administration and Congress in the wake of the financial crisis and Great Recession to better protect everyday Americans from getting cheated by banks, student loan and credit card companies, and other financial firms. It has returned billions of dollars to consumers who it deemed have been treated unfairly. And also, just so you know, to protect it from political influence, the Bureau receives its funding from the Federal Reserve, not Congress. So that's the problem here, is that they're getting their funding from the Federal Reserve and not from the Congress. And so I believe the problem that kind of opens is that it can't be regularly voted on. There's not gonna be as much oversight with their budget. So they're deemed that as unconstitutional. I hope that they find some sort of resolution to this though. All right, next we have apply for the federal student loan debt relief. So this is something that I urge everyone to do right now, or actually after the stream. It's so easy to do this. If you have any sort of student loans, which I know many of you probably do, you can go to this website, and I'll link it into the comment section real quick. If you need to go there, I'm going to link it up. And so just so you know, it's a program that provides eligible borrowers with full or partial discharge of loans up to $20,000 to federal Pell Grant recipients and up to $10,000 to non-Pell Grant recipients. And who's qualified? Individuals who made less than $125,000 in 2021 or 2022. So if you made less than that in either of those years, then you can get this $10,000 forgiven. And then you can apply right now, but the deadline is December 31st. So listen, if you forget and you wake up on the 2nd of January 2nd next year, you're going to be kicking yourself. So I'm just going to link it up in the comments just so you know you can go there. All right. So next we have Expedia tracks travel hacks report when to book and how to minimize disruptions. I thought this was good. If you're a traveler, then there are some things that you want to look out for to kind of maximize the money that you're spending. So you want to book your airfare on a Sunday. That can save you up to 15%. All right. So travelers who book on Sundays instead of Fridays tend to save on average around 5% on domestic flights and 15% on international flights. You want to book at least 1 month before domestic flights and 6 months before international flights to save 10%. So travelers that booked in these periods save 10% on average compared to those who waited until the last minute. For those who prefer to plan further in advance, booking domestic airfares any earlier than 113 days out has historically been more expensive, but may ensure you get your preferred flights. Domestic airfares have been more expensive in the 3.5 to 6 months before departures, so try to book early. And next we have depart before 3 p.m. So this is something I actually didn't know until I read this. You want to, I didn't know it was kind of like a solid rule. Depart if you want to reduce your chance of cancellations based on a year-to-date flight status data. Flights that depart after 3 p.m. have the highest chance of being canceled, which is a 50% higher chance on average than those that depart earlier in the day. So, and this makes sense because usually when flights, they kind of push as the day progresses, then flights that were late earlier just push the next flight back. So the flights that come after end up being later and later. And also you want to depart on a Wednesday to save up to 15%. So in general, travelers who started a trip on Wednesday versus the beginning of the week, a Sunday or Monday, saved on average 15% on domestic flights. For international flights, travelers who departed on a Wednesday instead of during the weekend saved 10% on average. Hey guys, I want to ask you guys about this. Does anybody know who this gentleman is? I mean, I have the name right here. Do you know of this person? Let me know in the comments. Do you know this person? This is Young Jock. All right, so he's a rapper from the early 2000s, right? He recently mistakenly sent a random person $2,000. He sent the wrong person $2,000 via Zelle. Now, Cheryl, I want to shout you out. Cheryl, if you could comment, I'm going to post your comment up if you do. I know this is your worst nightmare, right? You've always said you do not want to send a large payment to the wrong number, and now you're SOL, right? There's nothing you can do. This seems, I've seen this report happen more often than it should. People getting scammed, fraud happening, but this guy, he just didn't pay close enough attention. And I think later on, he posted the number he sent it to his millions of fans. And he said, hey, can you help me, text this person and tell them to send me my money back? Would you just charge it to the game at this point? I mean, I'm assuming he's got a good deal of money. Is this like, are you wasting time doing this? So definitely, I think what people should do in this case, and as Cheryl brought this up, but I think this is the best way to stop this from happening, is to send $1. Yes, yep, send $1. Cheryl said it just as I said it. I send $1 first, okay? Ask them if they got that $1, and then click on the same person you sent that dollar to and send the whole thing. DJ Bruce Wayne said that's like $20 for him. So why is he crying about $20? Maybe he doesn't have it like that. Maybe it's more than $20 to him. Shanika said, I like that. He should have sent it to me because he not getting that back. He not getting it back. I hear you. Dan Smith, what's up? You said Zelle needs to implement some kind of confirmation system to avoid this problem. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I was saying this to my wife earlier. There should be some sort of, system where maybe you can easily verify for yourself, where it will put into place that dollar system where you have to send like a test amount, like a 25, send them 5 cents. And if they got it, then the person that you sent the 5 cents to automatically populates to send the rest to. Maybe that could work. But yeah, there's got to be some, you can't, even though this is completely avoidable, there definitely needs to be some safeguards, because I think this is too easy to do. It's just, it's just too easy for it to happen. Chrissy said he was recently driving for a car service, so he doesn't have that type of money. Okay. Thank you for that update. So listen, he's driving Uber. He's driving car service is like that high end term. I'm just going to say Uber or Lyft. So young Jock was driving Uber and Lyft. He was switching out so he could maximize his income, and he sent $2,000 to the wrong person. That's the story we're flying with here. All right, guys, this slide is for F Davis. You asked me, and so I wasn't sure exactly what you wanted to talk about with percentage rates, but when it comes to credit cards, you really, percentage rates or APRs really shouldn't matter, because if you're using them correctly, you're not paying any interest, right? You're paying that statement balance in full every single month. But if you do want to figure out what your APR is, I think the average APR, and I just told you earlier today, now is like 18%. Just a couple years ago, it was like 16%. But if you need to calculate what the interest will be, all you do is take the APR and divide by 365, and that gives you your daily periodic rate. And so you take that rate, right, and you multiply it by how many days were in the month, and then what your balance is, and that'll give you how much interest is going to be charged. So it's a pretty simple calculation, but if you can comment in the let me know in the comment section what exactly about APRs that you wanted to talk about. And thank you, F Davis. I appreciate you for being a channel member, man. I appreciate that. And that's exactly why I wanted to make this slide for you. And I typically don't, I know a lot of people kind of really kind of revel in the fact that when they go to a credit union like Navy Federal or PenFed, you're going to get lower interest rates. So that is a good thing if you plan on at some point having to carry a balance, but it really shouldn't come into play if you're using credit cards correctly and earning money. So here's a poll that I took, and it said, which bank gave you your highest total credit limit? And 42%, which is number one, said Amex gave you have your highest credit limit with Amex. And listen, as I've been learning more and more about Amex, is that they have what's called a 3x credit limit increase. So if you start with like a $2,000 credit limit, then you can actually ask for 3 times that, I think after 6 months or so. So you can actually increase that to at least a $6,000 limit right off the bat. And so many other consumer cards don't allow you to do this. So I think that's actually the highest kind of out the gate limit increase that you can attain. So a lot of people are really able to grow their Amex limits to over $20,000 pretty quickly. And then we got number 2 at 27% is Chase. Now, this is a little surprising to me because Chase is known for being a little bit restrictive and more conservative, and they want to see you really commit to their ecosystem, and they want to see you spend a lot on the card to raise your credit limits up. I know from my experience, I have the Chase Freedom Unlimited, and that's my only Chase card. It's been stuck at a $6,700 limit for years. Admittedly, I don't use it that much, but I've never gotten an automatic increase, and there's really no way for me to increase it without, triggering a hard credit pull. And then Discover comes in at 23%. So Discover is, from my experience, is probably going to be the easiest increase that you're going to be able to get with an entry-level card. So the good thing about Discover is that you can start with a secure version of the IT card, then you can graduate to the standard IT card, and all the while it's growing the limit with you, and you can actually request for limit increases every 31 days, and a lot of people are achieving that. And then number 4 is, hey guys, the super chat's coming in too quick, guys. I'm trying thank you. I'm gonna acknowledge everybody. I just wanted to say this. Citi is number 4, 8%. And I did leave out Navy Federal. I know a lot of you have Navy Federal, and I wish I could fit it on here because I know it would probably get more votes than Citi did, but I wanted to kind of hold it to those, the big 4 or 5 banks, just because I know a lot of people have those cards, but I know Navy Federal is going to give you huge limits. I just want to thank real quick, Cheryl. I appreciate that. And he said Amex all the way. Okay, and Cheryl, don't you have the business cards as well? I know you've been talking about that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Danny, and coming through with another super chat for me. You said Team Amex. You guys are unanimous. And Dan Johnson, I don't think I've seen you in here before, but welcome to the stream. You said I paid off my credit card. Now I want to close it. Terrible service. What's the penalty, if any? Okay. Oh, okay. So, it depends. Let's see. Which card do you have? If you close the credit card, there's really not going to be a repercussion. There's not going to be any negative effects. So this is what you should know. All those good, on-time payments, all that data that's associated with that credit card are going to stay and remain on your credit report for 10 years when it's closed in good standing. And I believe it stays on your report for 7 years when it's closed, in bad standing. So it should be just fine. You might see an initial drop just because depending on what your available credit limit and what portion of that this card represents. But most people, I've had some, Nino, which is a really active person in my audience. He's closed several cards with no problem. F. Davis, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks. You said thanks for the help on the interest rate stuff. It helped a lot. Great stream. I appreciate it. I just want to. I had a few more. I know I had a lot this week, but I had a few polls that I put up, and I just wanted to address that. You said which card is better based on what we currently know, and most of you said the Blue Cash Preferred, and I think a lot in the comment section said because Amex has better customer service. It's more well known. You can trust them. But I think U.S. Bank came out with a competitive card here with the Shopper Cash, and 16% agreed. You said you like the Shopper, what they have to offer, so you're more interested in higher rewards for stores that you're gonna more frequently use. And then last one we already talked about. So, guys, girls. Cheryl said, run from Comenity. Yeah, Comenity is not the one, right? There a lot of problems there. Don Johnson, you said thoughts on the Amex Platinum. I'm just I'm not a fan of the Amex Platinum card. Is it worth the fee? For me personally, no. I don't use a lot of the coupons. They call it the coupon card. I'm not using most of those. I'm not traveling as much these days or right now. the fee is really high, and I'm not a big fan of the travel partner system. So it's just not geared for me. But I think you can pretty much see out there the most the most popular card in their lineup right now is the gold card. I see a lot of people getting a lot of value out of that. It's like half the price for an annual fee, and it's like a workhorse for them. You're earning 4x back in really good categories. So I'm not a big fan of the platinum. I'm a big fan of the Venture X card though, because essentially if you travel once in a year, you're going to be able to use all the statement credits, and it's going to earn you $5 off the bat just for using it one time for travel. Yeah, Danny said Team Gold card. Yeah, I'm with you, Danny. Team Gold card. Yeah, right off the lane, you said hoping the Ally takeover doesn't change the 2.5% unlimited cash back on Allo Optimum card. I'm not familiar with Allo. I think I've heard that once or twice. I just want you to know my primary bank is SoFi, and I'm getting 2.5% back on my SoFi account right now. So that's really nice to see. And that the percentage that I'm earning, or the amount that I'm earning now, is rivaling my cashback cards. So it's nice to have. If you're like right now, if you're earning less than 1% back, or if you're earning less than 0.5% back on your account, you're doing it wrong. You need to have your money in one of these fintechs that you're going to earn a decent percentage rate on. Mine Drifts, you said, what card should I get today? Wow, that's a tough question. Like, what is your priority? How do you, what category do you spend on? Do you want an all-purpose card that's going to be easy? Do you want something that you're going to have to do a little bit of a legwork on, but you're going to be able to maximize? Just give me a few, ideas. Don Johnson, you said, I missed the Capital One Venture X tip. So 2 things you should know that recently came out about the Venture X. You're getting there's like the hotel collection through, it's like a Visa Infinite benefit where you're going to get, we can go back to the slide if you want, but you're just getting access to hotels where you're going to get perks like early check-in and late check-out, breakfast, things like that. And then they're building new lounges in New York and DC. So the Venture X card is just getting better. Jorge said, did you ever consider product changes in the Freedom Unlimited card? There's really nothing for me to go to, Jorge. I mean, I guess I could product change into the Flex card, maybe. I would consider that. I'll have to give that some more thought. Thank you for suggesting it, though. Yeah, okay, so Mind Drift said, I want to do minimal work with the best outcome. Well, just because you said that, I'm just gonna point you in the direction of the 2% flat rate card. Now you're really gonna have 2 big options when it comes. Well, actually 3 big options as of now. And I'm gonna give you some suggestions based on what your kind of risk tolerance is and how you bank. So I personally like the SoFi checking account and SoFi credit card for a lot of reasons, because it allows me to move any of my cash back directly into my checking account automatically every single month. So I never have to touch a thing. So that's my first choice. But the thing is, you would have to start banking with SoFi and set up your direct deposit with them as well. I have a link on my website, which looks like this. And there's a link in the comment section as well. It's a pinned comment. And I have a link to them on there. But if you want the Citi Double Cash card, that's a 2% card. It was like the first one out. It's very well known, very reputable. I have a link to that under the cashback section right here on my website if you want to sign up for that. And what you're getting with that is just a more well-known card. A lot of people trust it, and you're not tied to one checking account. You're not tied to a bank, so you can just use that card to you can use your rewards for like a statement credit on the card itself. And then my third option, which a lot of people are not considering, is the 2% card with PayPal. So that PayPal has a MasterCard that earns you 2% on every purchase, but you actually earn 3% on all PayPal purchases. So I actually use this quite a bit for anytime I see a PayPal button, I'm using that PayPal card, because no matter how large the purchase is or the merchant, I'm still earning 3% back. So it's really nice to have that unlimited 3% back. Yo, Danny said down with Synchrony. That's not good. Synchrony Bank, guys, you should know, and I do this like once a month. Danny had a really bad experience with Synchrony. They closed his accounts for no reason. This has happened to numerous people. I've seen comments about this on Reddit and other forums. So that is a possibility. So I have multiple Synchrony Bank cards, and it's good to really diversify where your available credit is. That's really a good lesson to learn. You want to be diversified, which I know Danny is. There's a bunch of cards, but you want to have credit available across credit card issuers and banks across the board, so that if one goes down, you have others, and it's not going to affect your available limit that much. All right, so everybody's saying down with Synchrony. Listen, I can't even I gotta say, for Synchrony, I do like Synchrony, the Verizon Visa card. I like the Venmo card is good for something. I have it. That's worked for me in the past. I really like the Verizon Visa card. I use that for it earns 4% back on gas and grocery, and then like 3% on dining. It's a metal credit card. And I gotta tell you guys, if you guys want to know something, metal, if you want a no annual fee metal credit card, you got a bunch of options now. You got the Apple card, you got the X1 card, you got the Verizon Visa card, and there's something else. You have the Wells Fargo autograph card now. A lot of people don't know. Danny, you told me it wasn't metal, but guess what? I put a magnet to it, so it's got a metal kind of layer in the middle, and it's sandwiched between plastic. So those are your 4 metal cashback cards. And Don Johnson, thank you for the super chat. You said, is it true about having 21 plus cards to exceed the 800 credit score mark? You don't need that many cards to exceed 800 score. I think you just to get to 800, I believe the differentiating factor is average age of credit card accounts, and you just can't get there until you get a little bit older. You just don't have time on your side because you just haven't been in the credit card game long enough for that average age of accounts to go up and really give you, I think it's like 10 or 15% of your score. You don't need that. I think I've said previously that the FICO scoring company said that the average high achiever, that's their term, that's their phrase, the average high achiever has 6 bank issued credit cards. So you don't need nearly that many to get a perfect score. Mind Drift said, I was looking at the X1. I can't even, you guys, the comments coming so quick. You said looking at the X1 card on your website. Yeah, I see a lot of people clicking on it. I was surprised at how well that has been received. But I guess I shouldn't be, because they're really are handing out limits right and left. Pretty high limits out there. All right, guys, I'm working on a new video about this video is going to be on the 5 credit cards that guarantee you at least a $10,000 credit limit. That's the video I'm working on right now, and it's going to be coming out most likely this week. I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a great stream. It's really good to hear your feedback. And I want you to have a great week this week. And I'm going to see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. All right?